Hello and welcome back to Man vs Film. It's December already. We're at the end of 2020 and I've got 10 great movies for you to check out this month during the festive period. So let's get started. Number 10, Piercing. A man kisses his wife and baby goodbye and seemingly heads away on business, with a plan to check into a hotel, call an escort service and kill an unsuspecting prostitute. Unfortunately for the man, the prostitute is more than a match for him. Starring Christopher Abbott and Mia Wasikowska, this is a wonderful, playful movie which is basically just these two characters in a mind game, both with really nefarious purposes at the heart of it, and their kind of playful banter leads in a most horrific way. It's wonderfully set up, it's constantly changing the power dynamic between these two. It's really interestingly shot and it has some beautiful music stolen from some great giallo movies as well. Number 9, Blended. After a bad blind date, a man and a woman find themselves stuck together at a resort for families when their attraction grows as the respective kids benefit from the burgeoning relationship. Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore star in this rather inoffensive comedy movie. It doesn't really offer much other than chuckles and laughs. This is a movie that I surprisingly have went back to quite a few times, and I really enjoy the dynamic between the two leads. I enjoy the humour. Like I said, it's rather inoffensive. It's an easy watch, but it's really enjoyable and rather funny. Number 8, Mortal Engines. A mysterious young woman, Hester Shaw, emerges as the only one who can stop a giant predator city on wheels, devouring everything in its path. Feral and fiercely driven by the memory of her mother, Hester joined forces with Tom Natsworthy, an outcast from London, along with Anna Fang, a dangerous outlaw with a bounty on her head. Mortal Engines is another one of those young adult novels turned into a big budget spectacular movie, and the special effects here are rather amazing as you have these gigantic cities on wheels traversing the landscape, attacking other cities. It's a wonderful idea, even if the story does become a little atypical of those young adult stories. Still, the effects are great, the story's okay, and it's got some decent performances. Number 7, Long Shot. Fred Flarsky is a gifted, free-spirited journalist who has a knack for getting into trouble. Charlotte Field is one of the most influential women in the world, a smart, sophisticated, accomplished politician. And when Fred unexpectedly runs into Charlotte, he soon realises that she was his former babysitter and childhood crush. And when Charlotte decides to make a run for the presidency, she impulsively hires Fred as her speechwriter, much to the dismay of her trusted advisors. Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron make an unlikely pairing in this movie, but the chemistry that these two have is tangible and what really drives the story forward. You like these two people, they feel real, even though some of the situations they get into are a little bit out there and a little bit wild. But best of all, it's hilarious as well. It's hilarious. It's got these great characters. It's got a romance that you can buy into. And it's a movie that I went back to a couple of times and I just really enjoy. Number 6, Jack Reacher. In an innocent Heartland city, 5 are shot dead by an expert sniper. The police quickly identify and arrest the culprit and build a slam dunk case. But instead of confessing, the accused man writes the words, "Get Jack Reacher." Reacher himself sees the newspaper report and turns up in the city. Shocked at the accused's request, Reacher sets out to confirm for himself the absolute certainty of the man's guilt, but comes up with more than he bargained for. Christopher McQuarrie directs, Tom Cruise stars in Jack Reacher, and it was a fantastic movie, setting up this awesome character, creating up situations that were just fantastic to watch this character manoeuvre around about the city, manoeuvre and outwit a lot of the police forces and the nefarious aspects of the movie. It's got great action and fight scenes and was just a wonderful introduction to a character. Unfortunately, they dropped the ball with the second one. Number 5, Paradise Hills. Uma is a young woman who wakes up in an apparent idyllic reform school for young ladies, which is based on an island. Forced to become an obedient wife, she looks to escape her surroundings. Emma Roberts stars in this rather quirky movie. It's all about this island that is there to reform wayward young girls, to stop them being so unique and decisive, but to become more an automaton for some rich husband, and to see these girls try to look as though they're fitting in while trying to find a way to escape the headmistress of this place, who is a rather nasty Mila Jovovich. It becomes a quite interesting mystery thriller with little horror aspects all the way through it as well. Number 4, Sorry to Bother You. In an alternate version of Oakland, Cassius Green gets a telemarketing job and finds the commission paid a dispiriting struggle as a black man selling to predominantly white people over the phone. That changes when a veteran advises him to use his white voice and the attitude behind it to make himself more appealing to customers. With a bizarrely high-pitched accent, Cassius becomes a success, even as his colleagues form a union to improve their miserable jobs. Boots Riley directs this movie, and this is a real oddity, like a joy of a movie, a hard one to really describe, but it's full of ridiculous comedic moments, rich characters, unbelievable set pieces, and it's directed with such a visual flair and style that you can't help but get behind what the director is trying to achieve in this movie. Sorry to Bother You is a real oddity of a movie, but I think it's something that you really need to experience. Awesome filmmaking. Number 3, Krampus. When his dysfunctional family clashes over the holidays, young Max gets disillusioned and turns his back on Christmas. Meanwhile, the lack of festive spirit unleashes the wrath of Krampus, a demonic force of ancient evil intent on punishing non-believers. You know, it's taken me a couple of watches to really appreciate Krampus. It was something that I didn't really like the first time, but each additional watch I've enjoyed it more and more. And I find this one to be really great with its special effects, its practical effects, the kind of nihilistic nature of the family, the destructive nature of the Krampus, some wonderful set pieces, and it's just becoming something I really enjoy to watch at Christmas time. Number 2, John Wick. In the third instalment of the adrenaline-fueled action franchise, skilled assassin John Wick returns with a $14 million price tag on his head and an army of bounty-hunting killers on his trail, after killing a member of the shadowy International Assassins Guild. John Wick 3 is possibly my favourite of the series. It takes the action up exponentially, which is crazy considering the first 2 instalments. It is ridiculously funny, action-packed, and is just high-octane entertaining. They really try some different things in this movie, and it makes it really enjoyable for me. Kind of funny, doesn't have the downtime that part 2 had, and just has such varied action that it's constantly keeping me on my toes. Number 1, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales has just started a new school and is struggling to fit in. Then he's bitten by a radioactive spider and he obtains certain powers, similar to those of Spider-Man. He doesn't know what to do with the powers or how to control them, so naturally he turns to Spider-Man for advice. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is wonderful. It has this really unique animated style that makes it feel like it's an honest-to-goodness comic book that has just come to life. It has this really interesting style that's unlike anything else I've seen before. And that's before you get to the story, which is really reinvigorating for a Spider-Man movie. You know, I was feeling a little bit burnt out on the character before watching this, but this drew me back in. It made me excited to see more. And you get plenty of spider people in this movie as well. It's just a rich tapestry of artwork, of storytelling, of thematics that all come together to create an absolutely wonderful movie, which is why it's my number 1 this month. So there we have it. 10 movies that I hope you find something there that you can really delve into, something you can enjoy, and I hope you have a great Christmas and a fantastic New Year, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.